The title of our next presentation is Yoga is for Posers, Why Downward Dog is a Christian's Downfall. Please welcome Paige Kim.
Welcome to the modern day yoga class. After donning your pricey new athleisure outfit and clutching your yoga mat, you enter a studio and are greeted by a wave of tranquility. Before beginning, your instructor puts her hands together, bows to the class, and says, Namaste. While mirroring her poses, your movements feel raw and powerful. The way yoga makes you feel is unlike anything you've experienced before. It not only provides you with physical rigor, but also a meditative healing, one in which your mind is exercised to feel light and free, blissfully empty. One day, you finish class as usual, but something about this time is different. You are overcome with a sensation that can be best described as a detachment from your body. After sharing this experience with your instructor, you learn that you have just experienced what is commonly referred to as a yoga high, the euphoric feeling that is attained after achieving a higher state of meditation and relaxation. Something about this, however, is off-putting, as you did not intend to reach this state. This experience causes you to question, is yoga simply an exercise, or are there spiritual implications? Yoga's roots in Hinduism are indisputable. It originated as a supplement to religion and is used by Hindus to reach the end of achieving divine enlightenment. The word yoga means to yoke, in the sense of joining oneself to a Hindu divinity or a further enlightened version of oneself. Yoga's purpose is to stop the cycle of reincarnation and liberate oneself from their earthly body. Modern yoga is most closely associated to the postures by which these goals are attained. There are also cognitive elements to yoga, which entail a clearness of mind in order to become hyper-self-aware, lose your essence as a human, and transcend consciousness. Although some Christians may practice yoga for the sake of exercise without the intent of participating in a spiritual ritual, all yoga is in fact religious practice because it embodies a way of life for religious Hindus. Some, however, justify yoga's neutrality to religion by stating that yoga practiced without the intent of participating in a spiritual ritual separates it from its Hindu roots. They believe that they are partaking in a different yoga, one that is simply stretching for health benefits, has been commercialized to fit Western standards, and ultimately is far removed from its Hindu predecessor. However, if one has the urge to exercise in that manner, why can they not just stretch? Why do they call it yoga? It is, in fact, a religious practice because it serves a purpose in Hinduism as a response to a higher order and is used by Hindus to reach the end of achieving divine enlightenment. Religious practices are the direct product of a set of beliefs and cannot be separated from the religion by which they are affected. Although belief may influence the way one executes it, the display of actions in a religious practice ultimately override the belief or intent that one may have. Yoga practiced for exercise does not transform into a new activity stripped of its spiritual significance simply based on different practitioners' intention behind it or categorization of it. Regardless of intention, everyone who practices yoga wants to experience the way of life it has to offer, whether that be physical or spiritual. Take the Ouija board, for example. No one can dispute that playing it opens up a world of spiritual significance. If a group of teenagers wants to experience the game but claim they do not intend to tamper with spirits, is the Ouija board stripped of its spiritual significance? No, because in its essence, the game was created and is played for this very purpose. Claiming a lack of intention does not strip darkness from it, and the same is true for modern yoga. However, let us say that I'm stretching and I happen to be in a yogic pose. Is the move itself harmful? Yes, because yoga in its essence is a practice that cannot be separated from its spiritual foundation, because every pose, every breathing rhythm, and every chant was intended for the partaker to become one step closer to unification with the transcendent according to the Hindu understanding of divinity. According to Sanskrit texts, the warrior pose was created to empower the practitioner with the same hero strength and power as the god Shiva. The physical essence of the move itself evokes the power of a Hindu god. No matter how commercialized it has become, modern yoga still mirrors its ancient Hindu predecessor, sharing the same poses, the same breathing rhythms, and ultimately the same significance. Above all, in disregarding yoga's spiritual implications, Christians are violating God's call to separate themselves from the world unto himself. 1 Corinthians 10:21 says, "You cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and the cup of the demons. You cannot partake of the table of the Lord and the table of the demons." We cannot allow our minds to be subjected to the spiritual influences of practices like yoga while claiming unity to Christ. Millions of people today practice yoga in hopes that it will provide the answers to their problems, and among those millions are followers of Christ. Yoga has infiltrated our culture right under our noses and continues to hide there in plain sight under the disguise of harmless exercise. Ultimately, my words are not used to condemn those who practice yoga as deserving of eternal punishment. Rather, I'm warning fellow believers of the necessity to be strong, discerning guards of our salvation. Yoga is a sin and must not be practiced by Christians. We must live lives that distinguish ourselves from our secular counterparts and honor God's call to live as his people. Thank you.